Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Idahoan Show. Today I want to show you something that I built actually quite a while ago, but just didn't get around to doing a video on it until now. This is actually the third prototype to come out of my standard pattern muzzleloader development project that I'm working on with Atomic Rifling and Creative Operations. Now, the main purpose of this prototype, as far as the development project was concerned, was just to fine-tune the hammer and trigger mechanism. Worked fine for that, but since I was building a whole gun in order to do that, I got to thinking, you know, if I had been around back in the early 1800s and I was tasked with designing a muzzleloader for cavalry service, how would I do it? Yeah, I thought it was an interesting question to ponder, and this is what I came up with. I've designed this so that it can actually be loaded and fired completely with one hand, giving you the other hand to control your horse. So the way this works is, you know, you're riding along and you decide it's time to load up your rifle. So you take the rifle in one hand and you loop this hook through the loop that is provided on the otherwise single point sling here. That will suspend the rifle, you know, vertically across your chest. So at that point you can reach back to your munitions bag and pull out a pre-measured powder charge. This could be in a paper cartridge or a other measured container. Anyway, so we'd bite open the paper cartridge or pull the stopper out of the container and dump the powder charge into the muzzle of the rifle. With practice, you could probably do that without really having to look at it. I haven't practiced all that much yet. Anyway, now we just take a lead round ball, drop that in the muzzle, and now we have our captive ramrod, which is secured back here with a magnet, and then it's hinged up here. So when we bring it into position, we've got a lot of leverage to seat the projectile initially, and then we just ram it down on top of the powder. Return the ramrod to its normal storage position. Slip the rifle out of that loop. Go ahead and cock the hammer while I get a percussion cap out of my munitions bag. So we'll fit the percussion cap onto the nipple. You know, this requires some sort of fine motor dexterity, so this would probably be the most difficult part to do, especially while riding at a full gallop, but in principle it can still be done with one hand. Now we can either return the rifle to half cock if we're not immediately going to fire, or when we are ready to fire, we simply cock it. And I drop the cap. That's not supposed to happen. So, there you see, this gun can be loaded and fired completely with one hand. Of course, if you do have both hands available, you can always just hold the muzzleloader while you put in your powder and shot and operate the ramrod with your other hand. That's a little bit faster than using the loop that I provided on the sling, if you have both hands available. Now, I don't think that the Cavalry model is ever going to go into production, but this was still a fascinating spin-off of our muzzleloader development program. At least for me, it was a lot of fun to really consider this historically significant question of, how do you build a muzzleloader for cavalry service? And now you've seen my solution to the problem. I'd like to get some footage of actually shooting this on horseback, but I'm afraid that at this point, both I and my horses would need a lot of additional training before we would be fit for cavalry service. So I'm not going to attempt that today. Maybe someday in the future, if my skills develop to the point where I'm comfortable doing so, I'll try to get some footage of shooting this on horseback. But for now, thank you for watching the Idahoan Show.